Okay, so far we've been able to figure out the values for a and b for exponential functions because a lot of information was given us. So it's possible to figure out the y-intercepts and the multipliers just by kind of looking at it. Even these last ones that we did here, we didn't really have to do all that work to find the y-intercepts. We were able to kind of finagle around it if we wanted to. But what if we weren't able to? What if we need to determine a and b, then we were only given 2 points and no other information? No table of points, no graph to work from, all that stuff. Well, remember, to write an exponential function, we still need two things. We need the y-intercept, which is a, will be our a value, and we need the base multiplier, which will be our b value. All right, so let's look at this problem right here. We're supposed to find the exponential function that contains the points 0, 7, and 6, 2, 73. Well, actually, this one's not so bad because they're giving us 0, 7. See that right there? That's the y-intercept. You can tell it's the y-intercept because the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. Okay, so that means that we already know that it's y equals a times b to the x. We already know that it's y equals 7 times b to the x. Already figured out. Well, there we go. That's half the battle right there. Now we just have to put in the point that we know. So 273 is equal to 7 times b to the 6th power. And this is just like the ones I was doing above. We want to divide by 7 because you want to solve this for b. So we're going to have to divide by 7. And of course, you got to do it to both sides. Be fair and balanced. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. All right, the 7s are going to cancel here. Well, not cancel. Cancel is a really poor choice of words. They're dividing. 7 divided by 7 divides into 1. So for all intents and purposes, it looks like it disappears. All right, so 273 over 7 is equal to b to the 6th. Now, what is 273 over 7? Good question. 273 divided by 7, divided by 7, there we go, is equal to 39. All right, so 39 equals b to the 6th power. Now in chapter 4.1, we learned how to get rid of this. You might not have remembered it, but we did. And the answer is, well, actually 4.2, I shouldn't say 4.1. The answer is we want to raise it to a power that would make it go away. The 6th power go away. And of course, if you do it to the right-hand side, you're going to have to do it to the left-hand side. Now, the perfect power to pick here is 1/6. Because if I take 1/6, 1/6 times 6, because these powers get multiplied. A power to a power, you multiply the powers. And a 6 times a 6 is going to go away. It's going to divide into 1. So it's going to become b to the 1 over here on this side. But of course, if you do it over to the right-hand side, you have to do it to the left-hand side. So we're going to need to take 39 to the 1/6 power. That'll be what b is. So b equals 39 to the 1/6. We just need to find that. So let me do a squiggly equals because this is approximate. This isn't going to be perfect. And now we're going to go make our calculators do that because that's awful. 39 caret. Now with the new operating systems like I've got here, I can just type 1/6 and press enter and we're great. The old ones, you're going to have to type, so if you have an 83, you'll have to type caret button and it'll have a little caret symbol there. And you'll have to type parentheses, 1 divided by 6, close parentheses. Now, if you're looking at like my calculators right now with this superscript thing, the way, see how it writes the exponents kind of up above the line? Then you don't have to bother with the parentheses, just like I didn't. But if you're on an old calculator that still writes the little caret symbol thing, then you're going to need to use parentheses. You should get 1.8415. So 1.8415. Okay, so that means we have our equation. We know that it's y equals 7 times 1.8415 to the x. And there's our final result. And there's all that work to get there. Okay, now, what if I didn't give you the y-intercept to start with? That would make your life so much more difficult. right, so let's do that. Oh, real quick. You could double check yourself. And I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit here, but I want to show you how you could double check yourself. So I press Stat, Edit, and I clear out this old stuff here. I can use the points they gave me, which is 0, went with 7, and then 6 went with, what was it, 273? 273. Go over here to the right, 273. So there are your 2 x's and your 2 y's. And again, this isn't quite this section, but you're going to need it anyway, so you might as well know how to do it. Okay, so what could you do? Well, you can make the calculator come up with the exponential regression equation by hitting Stat, Calc, and letter 0 is exponential regression. See it right there? So you hit that and say, yep, my X list is in L1, my Y's are in L2. Go down to Calculate and press Enter, and it should back me up, 7 and 1.8415. So even if they tell you to do it by hand, there's nothing stopping you from double checking yourself, right? Right. So keep that in mind. All right, so now let's find this one by hand, and then we'll double check ourselves with the calculator. Okay, so my last video was processed. That's what that was. Okay, so we had 2, 5. Let's see the points. 2, 5, and 6, 77. So let me remind you, it's y equals ab to the x. Put substitute, and put larger x on top. Now that'll make more sense in a second. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say the larger x is 6. 6 is the larger x. So I'm going to say 77 equals a times b a times b to the 6. And then I'm going to have another equation below it, which is 5 equals a times b to the 2. Hold on one second. I got to change this. There we go. All right, so now what we're going to do, so we substituted, we put the larger x on top. That's 6. That's on top. Now we're going to take this and we're going to divide both sides. Oh, I can't do that. There. Those are division bars. I'm literally dividing 77 divided by 5 and this whole thing divided by this whole thing. Now, why in the world would I want to do that? Well, it's funny you should ask. So what's going to happen over here on the left-hand side? You're going to get 77 divided by 5 equals. Now, over on the right-hand side, you have a divided by a. But a divided by a divides away into 1. So that's gone. And then you have b to the 6 over b to the 2. But remember, we learned in section 4.1 that you can subtract those powers. There's 6 b's on the top, 2 b's on the bottom. So these two are going to go away and leave you b to the 4th. All right. Now, how do I solve for b? Well, I can get 77 divided by 5. 77 divided by 5 is 15.4. Okay, so let's see. 15.4 equals b to the 4th. I want to get b by itself, so I'm going to raise both sides to the 1/4 power. That way, 4 and a 4th will divide away. But of course, if I do it to the right-hand side, I'll have to do it to the left-hand side as well to keep it fair, right? So I'm going to take this side over here and raise it to the 1/4 power. And I'm not going to do that by hand. No, no, no. That's why we have calculators. So 15.4 to the 1/4. And again, with the old calculators, you'll have to put that 1/4 in parentheses. And so it's 1.98098. So 1.981, because it wanted 3 decimal places. So b is approximately 1.981. Oh. But we're not done. No, no, no. We found our b. That's great. Here, let me underline it. So b is right here. Fabulous. But we're in trouble. We still need to know what a is. Okay. So what could we do? Well, we could substitute, right? So we divided here. So we substitute and put the larger a on top. Let me put this over here. We divide both sides of the equation. So we did that. Now we're going to substitute again. So we're going to substitute again. All right, so let's see how that goes. I know it's 5 equals AB to the 2, right? I mean, there's our point, x and y, 2 and 5. You could also do this with 77 and 6, but I figured 5 and 2 are smaller numbers. But I know what B is. I know B is 1.981, approximately. I'll put a little squiggly equals here because it's not exact anymore. But now I can find what 1.981, squared is with a calculator. This is 5 is about a times, all right, 1.981 squared. So let me just square that last answer. If I take my last answer and I square it, I get 3.924. 3.924. So to solve for a, I'll just divide both sides by 3.924. And again, this will disappear over here. But over here, it'll give us a whole new number. 5 divided by 3.924. And I'm just going to make my calculator find that. So A is about approximately, let me go back to the calculator, 5 divided by second ANS. That'll take the last answer, all those decimal places, and it tells me it's 1.274. 1.274. Beautiful. All right, so our final result then, we think, is, let me put it over here. Y equals 1.274 times 1.981 to the x. Now again, we can check ourselves with our calculator. Even though it said to do it by hand, there's nothing stopping us from double checking, right? Okay, so let's go back to the calculator. Stat, edit, clear the old, type in the new. So clear. So our two x values were 2 and, what was the other one? 2 and 6. 2 and 6, and then 5 and 77. So our two x values are 2 and 6, and then 577. Stat, calculate, move to 0, which is exponential regression. Go down to calculate, press enter, and there it is, and it matches our values. Beautiful. So we're done. All right, so now for the last one, we just have to do all that again. Okay, so let's look here. We have 2 points, 3, 4, and what's the other one? Let me move my points over. 7, 22. 7, 22. You know what? Actually, I don't think I'll have time on this video to do it. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to just do this last problem in the third video. I'll see you back here for that.